Hi guys, welcome to Victorus Lashes tutorial. My name is Hamera and I'm here with London Beauty Artist today to show you guys how we're going to apply our false eyelashes. So today we're going to go through kind of like 3 styles of lashes. The first one's going to be a very natural look. So as you guys can see, these ones here are super natural, really nice for like anyone who's a little bit scared about wearing eyelashes their first time. And we've created a really nice, lovely, natural beauty makeup look. So we're going to see how these go on. So your first step, guys, is to measure these lashes. Lashes usually come in kind of like a one width, so it's like a one size. When it comes to obviously your own individual eye shape, you need to make sure that these kind of measure up against that. Now the great thing about Victorus lashes is that the band is really thin, they're super lightweight, so it's not going to feel like it's anything too heavy or feel like you're wearing anything too heavy on your eyes. So the first thing you want to do is obviously measure these, but just before that, I'm going to pop some eyelash glue onto the back of my hand. Now you guys might be thinking why I'm doing this now. The trick is that often when we apply eyelashes, we put the glue straight onto the eyelash. And then have you guys ever felt that feeling when you try and put them on and they're just like sliding around everywhere? Have you ever tried putting lashes on?
Yes.
And then, yeah, it's the problem.
Same experience.
Same problem.
Yes.
So what we want to do is put just a little blob of glue on the back of your hand, and while you're then measuring the lash, you can let that kind of half dry. When it half dries, it becomes a little bit tacky, and then it makes your life so much easier when you're applying lashes. So let's go straight in and try and measure these out. Now I have already on the model popped on some mascara and I've curled her lashes. This will ensure that your false eyelash is going on the right way. It's going to sit properly on top of the eyelash as well. So I'm just going to ask the model to look down for me. So when you guys would do this at home, obviously you want to make it as easy as possible to put eyelashes on yourself at home. You want to be looking down into a mirror. If you keep your eyes closed, kind of like you can see here, so just close your eyes for me. It kind of like, bunches up the eye a little bit. So what we want to do is making sure that she's keeping her eyes open but looking down. And the way you guys can do that is by looking down into a mirror yourselves at home. You get those little like bathroom mirrors, you can tilt those, keep them close, and you can see what you're doing. As you're kind of looking down into the mirror, you then want to take the eyelash and you want to place it, and at this point we're not sticking the eyelash down, we're just measuring. Now guys, all of us are human, which means we don't have any eyelashes all the way on the inside of the eye. So a lot of people make the mistake of trying to apply eyelashes all the way on the inside. What that's going to do is it's going to irritate the tear duct, and that's when your eyes start to water and we get into a bit of a problem where the eyelashes aren't sticking, the eyes are watering. So when you are measuring your eyelash, you want to measure it from just a little bit of the way in at the inner corner, and now if she looks up, you can see this little flap just here, right? You want to hold on to the excess, so anything that's kind of left over, and as you take that off, you just want to measure that, and that's where you would trim the eyelash. So that little flap just at the end of your eye is where you want to trim that. By holding it there, you then want to get a pair of eyelash scissors, like so. And the main thing you want to do is you want to focus and trim the eyelash facing the band. You never want to trim the eyelash facing the actual lash part because you end up cutting kind of most of the eyelash. So facing the band, you then want to make sure that you trim appropriately and take the excess off. Next, you want to grab your lash tweezers. Now these are great because lash tweezers are, a little bit of a safety tweezer, so they're not exactly a point. And you can do them with normal tweezers as well if you wanted to, but I just find these a little bit safer and easier to use. Now do you remember the glue that we had at the back of the hand? We're going to use that now, and we're going to place that along the lash band. Guys, you only need a little bit of glue, you don't need a whole load, just a thin line. And you can just use the end of your tweezer or even the end of like a makeup brush maybe to apply that on. When you're ready, you can pop this into the tweezer, and she's just going to look down for me again. And you want to make sure you're sticking the center on first. Just keep looking down. Keep looking down for me. So sticking on the center like that first, and then you can start to adjust the corners. Now the great thing is, did you see that there was no sliding around at that point? Victoria's lashes have a really thin band. They're also very lightweight, which means you don't need a lot of glue to stick them on. But also if you keep your glue kind of on the back of your hand whilst you're doing everything, it leaves it a moment to get a bit tacky, which means it's not as wet and it'll stick down properly as well. Now while she's still looking down, at this point you can start to adjust the lash. What I mean by adjusting is you can start to kind of maybe move it around, bring it a little bit closer to your lash line. And the great thing about these tweezers is you can then just go in and squeeze the natural lashes and the false lashes together. Try and get these eyelashes as close to your lash line as possible, but don't stick the lashes on your actual natural lashes, if that makes sense, because then when it comes to taking them off, you're gonna obviously pull out your natural lashes, which can be a little bit painful. So making sure you're just sticking it on the skin of the eyelid, just above the natural lashes. So as you start to squeeze those together, and do this very, very carefully, this will make